Hello and welcome to Fusion Tech. Check out my friend's gaming channel here for awesome gaming videos. Welcome to the 4th episode of Excite on Fusion Tech. This is one of the best budget phones ever, in my opinion, I have ever seen. This phone is just amazing, and it comes in 2 different models for a different user base. It comes in a 5.5-inch model and a 4.7-inch. Now the 5.5-inch model is going to be the one with the best specs. The 4.7-inch model has slightly lower specs, but it's going to be good enough for those people who want a smaller phone as well. I'm excited for this one, so let's get to it. Now the 4.7-inch model is a little bit cheaper than the 5.5-inch model, but I'm going to talk about it first because it is the base model. It is slightly lower spec than the normal 5.5-inch model, and it is 134.6 by 65.9 by 7.6 millimeter body, so that's a pretty compact 4-inch phone. It also is only 110 grams, so this is a pretty light as well. Also, it has a 4.7-inch screen, obviously, and it has a 720 by 1280 resolution, which means that this phone is 720p, just like the Moto G. But that's good enough for most, pretty much everything by now. So at least you have an HD screen on this phone. It also has a pixel density of 312 pixels per inch, and it ships with a pretty much stock version of Android Lollipop, which is, in my opinion and a lot of other people's opinions, the best version of Android yet, and probably the best mobile operating system to date. It has slight customizations. It has a slightly, and I mean very, very slightly, changed icon pack and a couple of settings, but nothing to take away from the experience at all. It's not like TouchWiz where it's going to slow down your phone at all. And if you just want to install a new icon pack, then it's pretty much just a stock Android phone. Now, this phone has the Snapdragon 410 inside, which is a slightly upgraded version of the 400, which is in the Moto G and the Lite. So it's slightly quicker. And the Adreno, sorry, I was saying that wrong, Adreno 306, which is slightly old, but then again, this is a budget phone. It's one of the last breed of phones. It's a dying breed by this point that has a micro SD card slot and a removable back cover. That's dying quickly. The phone also has 8 gigs of internal storage and 1 gig of RAM. And the camera also is pretty good. It's a 13 megapixel Sony sensor, and it has 1080p recording at 30 frames per second. Now, this camera does not support 4K at all, unlike the S6 and the M8, but you also have to remember that this is a budget phone, and nobody owns 4K anything, not even me, so that's not that big of a problem, but it might not age, the camera might not age well because of that, but then again, it is a budget phone, so you're just gonna have to deal with some things. It also has a 5 megapixel sensor in the front for Skype and selfies and things, and also a 2000 milliamp hour battery, which should last you through an entire day. And early reports say that the battery life is actually very good on this phone. Of course, the 5.5-inch model, which I'm going to be talking about now, has slightly better specs than the 4.7-inch model. Now, why can't they be the same? I don't know, but let's check out the 5.5-inch model. This model has a slightly bigger and better screen, of course with that 5.5-inch screen instead of 4.7. And this body is also different because it's a bigger screen. It is 152.7 by 75.1 by 7.4 millimeters, and it is only 141 grams. Now that's a little bit more than the 4.7 inch model, but of course that's because it just has a bigger screen and it's a bigger body as well because of that. This phone is obviously 5.5 inches, again, the slightly bigger model, and has a resolution of 1080 by 1920, which is 1080p, so that's better than the 720p screen we see on the 4.7 inch. The reason the 720p is okay on the 4.7 inch is because the screen is smaller, so you can cram those pixels in more. 5.5 inch, you start spreading them out, so 1080p is very good on a phone like this. You can watch all your content. You can even watch your recorded videos in 1080p right on the phone. Now that 1080p screen is gonna be probably at this point the best screen you can get on a budget phone or a phone under 300 bucks. So yeah, pretty good screen. This one also has a slightly upgraded processor. It has the Snapdragon 615, and that Snapdragon 615 is actually an octa-core processor, so it has 4 cores for normal operation, and another 4 cores for higher tier operation. So the first set of 4 cores is just lower power, and the other ones are higher power, so you can get good performance no matter what you're doing. It also has our Adreno 405, and it's, of course, that dying breed of phones with a microSD card slot and a removable back cover. This one, it has slightly upgraded internal storage, so you don't need that extra microSD card. And that internal storage is 16 gigs, and this one also has 2 gigs of RAM versus the 1 gig of RAM on the 4.7 inch model. So this is actually pretty nice, because then you can have more programs running in the background and things. So that's actually a very good upgrade from the 4.7 inch model. The 5.5 inch model has the same exact camera Sony sensor from the 4.7 inch model with 13 megapixels and 1080p recording at 30 frames per second. Although this phone actually has an 8 megapixel camera versus the 5 megapixel camera found on the 4.7 inch model. So it's slightly better in the front. You know, it's not much better, but it will be, you know, slightly better. It also has a slightly bigger battery as well at 2,910 milliamp hours. So this phone also got early reports of great battery life. The reason the battery's bigger is because the screen is bigger, and of course there's more room in the phone, but it's probably going to last just as long as the 4.7 inch model, only because the screen is bigger and that draws more power from the battery. Now for my final thoughts. This is an awesome phone. Just awesome. At an awesome price point and awesome specs. So this phone is just overall great. And in my opinion, it's the best budget phone to ever come out. Period. Better than the Moto G. I have the Moto G, and I would personally say that this phone is probably going to be better than the Moto G. And it just blows the Moto G specs out of the water with the 5.5 inch model being bigger, having a better screen, better specs, I mean everything. This phone is amazing. Now you can't get this phone yet, but you can pre-order it on Amazon, linked below, and it will be released May 21st of 2015 this year. You know, great phone. So I would actually recommend pre-ordering it if you're in a need for a good, solid budget phone that you can have for a couple of years. Oh yeah, and this phone is 250 bucks. Off contract and unlocked. That is an amazing price, considering that the Moto G, with about pretty much half the specs, a little smaller, 720p screen versus 1080p screen, is 200 bucks. You're paying only $50 more for a much, much better phone. I would full-heartedly recommend this product. It is awesome, and if you have 300 bucks to spend, which is not much for a phone these days, and you don't want a contract, you just want an unlocked phone, let's say you're going with a carrier that just needs unlocked phones, this is the phone to get. Like, it's so good, especially for the price point. Also remember to comment on what I could do better, what I'm doing horribly, what you think you want to see on the channel, what you think I should do on this channel. Please just comment, just saying what you would like to see out of this channel. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fusion Tech. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and also remember to follow me on social media in the links below or sideways. Who knows where the actual links are, but anyways, just remember to follow me on social media and follow me on Instagram for exclusive content. Thanks again for watching this episode of Fusion Tech. Goodbye. Thank you to everyone who has watched any of my videos here on Fusion Tech. Just thank you so much to all my subscribers, everybody who's commented, and everybody who liked the videos. Just thank you so much.